Yeah, Magic the Gathering's cool.
And I got to use a bank of old memories to kind of teach you.
Yeah, it still combat. Wrap my head around that hard part.
I was thinking about it today, and I realized a big thing. They really focused on like it being more combat than anything, because a lot of those decks don't really have many enchantments, a small amount of spells. I only saw like maybe 3 artifacts through all of those cards.
Yeah.
And still there's no planeswalkers. So like this is like the beginning. That's the step 1 of 3 steps.
But yeah, no, Magic's cool. I get it now. I get why there's such a following cult of it.
It just came out. We realized that it just came out. Well, we bought the Foundation's beginner box,
which is so cool. It has, I mean, obviously, if you're versed in it, I feel like it's lame. But if you're like me and had no real idea what the hell was happening, it was a very cool way to introduce someone. Comes with a little booklet.
Yeah, so
like a step-by-step on how to play.
It's like it gives you an actual tutorial with like a deck. It tells you how to stack the deck, so you draw the right cards, and then what to play, what to do each turn on both persons' side.
Yeah.
So then if it's 2 people that don't know how to play, they're learning what each action does.
Yeah. It's like 6 steps, and then when it gets to the 6th step, it's like, all right, now finish the match. And at that point, it's hands-free and finish. And
I felt like I was a computer for Tommy. I was like, I am a tutorial.
It was cool. And it's like a vampires versus cats deck. And
Black versus white.
Yeah, it was, I have to say, for
swamps versus plains,
a starter kit,
it's really
5 out of 5.
Yeah,
cool little thing. Comes with dice and mats and stuff. Comes with little
tokens.
And it was like $30.
Yeah,
I was like, holy shit! It was really fun.
It was a well worth $30.
Mm-hmm. It really was. All right, ready?
Yeah.
This is Tommy.
This is Jacob. This is Tommy and Jacob's mixtape. I don't know.
Let's try to figure out what that song was.
I can't do it. Have you? It's Pitch Perfect 3, or is it 3, or is it the? They're in the vent and he starts doing.
I think I've only kind of sort of seen the first Pitch Perfect.
They're in the vent and he starts doing "A Sweet Child of Mine" like a cappella, and then using the vent, and then Adam sits up and he's like starts singing it.
Hello, everyone.
We're talking about.
We're not talking about Pitch Perfect today. I'm Tommy.
That'd be a fun one to do. I'm Jacob.
This is
Tommy Jacob's mixtape.
This is TJ's mixtape. We are, and that's where we lost him. We are a movie review podcast where we talk about movies. One in particular, how they're made, who made them, who's in them. But today we're doing something else.
Yeah, we also like to branch out and talk about other forms of media,
whether it be TV, video games, occasionally comic books and books. Not
because we consume pop culture,
multimedia stuff. So yeah, this week we are taking a breather from the reviews, and we're doing an episode that we're calling Must Watch TV.
Yeah, we're going into holiday season. Well, we're in the middle of the holiday season, really. But, people got time off. You're going to be seeing the family. You don't know. Maybe you're like, sure, I don't know what I want to watch with family, or what to put on the background, or what so have you in holiday times. That was a weird way to say all of that. I said it's kind of the same thing 3 times in a row.
Redundant.
If you didn't get it the first time, you got it.
You definitely got it now. So yeah, we on our separate time and unbeknownst to each other, what we were doing, made a list of 5 different titles.
Yeah, I feel like we approached it in 2 different ways.
Yes.
So let's still do it back and forth just to keep it exciting. Yeah. I did kind of mine as more of like something like top 5 shows ish. Like these are like shows that I can easily put on in the background and binge or enjoy to watch. These are things that I just love to rewatch over and over and over again.
Yes.
And honestly, this was kind of a hard. Once I got past my 3, I was like, well, it could be it could be this, it could be this, it could be this. Honorable mention, I guess, fucking The Office was on there, Brooklyn Nine-Nine was there, but like, it's like, no, there's other one. I still didn't find the one that I was trying to remember.
Oh, the one you're talking about the other day?
Yeah, still couldn't find the one, but whatever. And then you did more recent stuff, you said.
Yeah, like I started making my list, and then I realized that it's just the things I was writing down that I really was like, I really want to talk about these more recent things. That I think that if you haven't had the time or were interested but didn't want to commit to it, that I think that these are ones that you should watch.
Yeah.
And for a variety of different reasons.
I feel like I will get to, I feel like one of yours I almost wanted to put on here because I saw your list. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it changed, but I want to put on here, but it's also, I was like, no, I knew you were going to do it, and I will just have the conversation, and there's other ones that I could put on mine.
Yeah.
Well, Rochambeau to see who goes first.
Sure. You just go first.
I win. I win the Rochambeau because you concede. I still got that competitive nature from MTG last night.
Machine Gun Kelly?
That's MJK. GK.
Ha.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to start mine off. My number 5. You
are these in a particular order, or are you just?
I put them in like kind of like, yeah, like top to bottom, like ones that I like. Yeah. Okay. There is in my Okay. So I'm starting off with Futurama. Yes. Specifically more for me, what up to like 2008 of it, because I again, like the newer stuff I've tried to watch, I'm like, man. But Futurama originally aired on Fox from 1999 to 2002, and then Comedy Central picked it up and then did a couple more seasons from 2008 to 2013, and then you can stream all of that on Hulu. And now they are currently releasing their own seasons on Hulu at the moment, and I think after there's this season happening, one season before, and they are projected to do another season just contractually.
Yeah, like when the title comes up, it says Huluama.
Oh, does it?
And then when the ship flies through, it changes in the Futurama.
Futurama was created by Matt Groening, who also has done The Simpsons and the Netflix's Disenchantment. Has a voice talents of like Billy West, Katie Seagal, John DiMaggio. They're just big people in that world.
DiMaggio was a good Joker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked him a lot as Joker.
I decided to just do for the premise, in case people don't know what these shows are.
Yeah,
I just copy and pasted what IMDb said.
Okay.
Just so it was just like really simple. Like, I don't like to create my own. I just want what did IMDb say? What did IMDb say? To just kind of like, because it's always very direct.
Yeah. And it's not cute or funny.
Yeah. So, Philip J. Fry, a pizza delivery boy, is accidentally frozen in 1999 and thawed out on New Year's Eve $29.99. Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, that's exactly what the show started out as. But, it's his, displacement in time and the future, him being the past boy. But it's more of a commentary on modern, like, world through the lens of a futuristic scenario.
Yeah.
Which is why, like, one of the reasons why I love the show is because of its commentary on things that are happening with, in our society today, making satire of it. It's really clever with all of that. But the writing itself also, like, there's fun arcs with all of the characters. And it's a great example of comedy, in my opinion. Of like Looney Tunes-esque type comedy, like a clown world comedy type thing, because the laws of physics don't exactly work the same, in a cartoon than they do in real life. Mm-hmm. Characters can die and be back in the next episode, jokingly type stuff.
Well, I mean, they have reoccurring characters that have been dead in this world for 1,000 years. So.
Yeah, exactly. Richard Nixon.
My favorite.
Exactly.
I love Richard Nixon in that show.
And like, I feel like for a show that's as goofy as this, it has moments where it doesn't deserve to be as like emotionally like
Jurassic Park
deep as it is. Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Even just like,
if you know, you know.
Yeah. Walking on sunshine, baby.
I can't watch it. I can't watch that episode to this day.
It's so sad.
I can't do it.
If I think about it too much, I'll cry.
That one, like, really, because that was the first. I mean, obviously, that's a stupid way to say it. But that was the first time I was watching Futurama as a young lad. You know,
And you got the feels.
oh my god, for a show like that, you're just not expecting it,
Yeah.
and that really wrecked me.
Well, and that's like from my experience in directing and writing and all that stuff. I have learned that the easiest way to make someone cry
Yeah, it's the comedy thing, right?
is to make them laugh first.
Because it puts down the barriers, it makes them more susceptible.
It opens up your emotions. It makes you having a really good time. You're taking in the information a lot more.
Yeah.
And then a shift into like, oh, wait, what?
Well, I mean, this might seem lame, but that's one of the reasons that, especially more early, in my opinion, Grey's Anatomy worked really well.
Fair. Yeah.
Because Grey's Anatomy is a very dramatic series, but they actually had some pretty great writing comedy-wise.
Oh, dude, I just realized what this is. It was Scrubs.
Yeah.
I wanted to put Scrubs on this list.
Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah. Because Scrubs is so good at that.
Yeah.
So many episodes do you end just kind of like maybe with a light tear or just like kind of anxiety, like Dr. Cox when he can't save the person and the phrase playing in the background and
how to save a life.
Yeah, dude, like just thinking about that. Just thinking about that gives me chills, you know?
Jumping back to Futurama though.
Yeah.
I think that's an interesting one too because of the fact that it changed so many hands. Canceled, not canceled.
Yeah.
Going back, it's kind of like what I was saying with Bob's. Going back to the beginning of Futurama.
Such a different show.
And going through the evolution of it is pretty interesting because, and it's funny because Futurama, I hated Futurama in the beginning.
Really?
Yeah, so I remember trying to watch Futurama, and maybe I just didn't get it. I was too young, but was not interested in it. For years and years, I always had this, not into it. And then I'm not sure, but at some point, I think it's maybe when the transfer over to Comedy Central happened.
Possibly. It was 2008.
That I started watching it again, and I was like, oh, this is actually really funny. So then I went back and watched, and then I came to the realization that when Fox had it at first, didn't care for it, still don't really care for it.
Fair.
The Comedy Central era, that's when I'm like, okay, that's my...
It's interesting because, I mean, obviously I love the Fox stuff because it's the original. Some of the episodes are kind of like a little like, this comedy's a little rough around the edges now. But when the Comedy Central one came out, so that was originally, they did 4 movies that they then re-released as 3 episodes each. I have all of those on DVD actually.
I think I saw that.
Yeah. With the actual postcards. Like shit. Yeah. Dude. Collectible shit. When that happened, a lot of people were kind of like claiming that it's not as clever as the original series, blah, 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 blah. Kind of the same that's happening with the Hulu. That's, it's like it's getting its reboot again. But I feel like both, because it's like Fox, Comedy Central era, Hulu era, obviously different writers and showrunners through those times. So the direction or the type of humor is still kind of Futurama, just with like a different fingerprint for another like group of people. But I think up to the 2013, the season 8, the last season from there, I think that's when it should. I don't think they should have rebooted it.
Should have left it alone.
They should have left it alone because of Fry's arc and Leela's arc with it. Because you have at the end when it got canceled on Fox, they could have done more, and they left the last episode open ended, and it's the idle hands the devil's the idle hands the devil may do or whatever. It's the one where Fry swaps hands with the devil.
Yeah,
that's the last episode from the Fox.
Are you trying to think of the proverb?
Name.
Oh, the episode of the proverb.
The episode name.
Okay,
because it's a play on the proverb.
I don't know if that's correct terminology. Is that
I think you're right. I think so.
Whatever.
Tell us if we're wrong. But yeah.
either look really
the
smart
devil's hands,
or look really...
The devil's
idle hands do the devil's work is the
proverb. Oh, I think that's just the name of the episode, yeah.
Okay, that's
yeah.
That's the phrase.
Yeah.
I'm not going to keep saying proverb because I don't know if that's right.
Yeah, and because if you're not familiar, Fry's big thing is that he's in love with Leela and he's an idiot.
Oh, yeah, it's a proverb.
Yeah. He's a dimwit, and Leela feels that she's better than him.
Because she kind of is.
Nah, she's her own dim-witted type of self as well. she's high and mighty. She thinks she's better than everyone.
Don't talk about my one-eyed monster like that.
Yeah, I love Leela. Oh, God. Ew. I've never heard that. Oh, God. Okay, I'm never going to call Leela the same again.
Pizza.
She's a mutant. She's not an alien. I love that twist as well. Anywho, so they end it with, Fry wanting to impress Leela, and he was doing it. And it ends in a very sweet note where she's like, no, Fry, finish the concert. And then you see this like little love letter he wrote for her, and it ends with in his like I forget what the name of the hollow phone. I think it's a hollow phone thing. Is them like kissing, and it's like, and then it's canceled. And that's the end of it. And you're like, oh well, it gives this thing like maybe they end up together because she was like was realizing Fry's love for her and blah blah blah. They reboot it. Very weird, like how it happens, and then the end of season 8. Is Fry and Leela frozen in time together, traveling the world growing old because of a time slip of Fry spending all this time trying to go back in time to save Leela. And then it ends with the professor opening up a time portal and like, let's go back. But if you come back, you won't remember any of this and you will do it all over again. And Fry and Leela look at each other and it's like, do you want to do it all again? Yeah, let's do it all again. And hand in hand walk into the time portal. And it's just really sad and sweet. I'm tearing up thinking about it. And that's just like a perfect ending for a show like that. So that's why when I saw that they were bringing it back on Hulu, I was like, all right, we're just going to milk a dry cow, I guess. Beat a dead horse.
I mean, I've watched the new Hulu thing.
I've watched a couple episodes.
I don't know. When I first heard about it, I was excited about the idea of it because a lot of shit has gone down since it ended.
Yeah.
The first time or the whatever time. The most recent time it ended. And if they had really like gritted their teeth, buckled down, and were really going to make more comments on that and more satire about the world we live in.
Yeah.
Now I would have been more into it, and they haven't yet. Not saying they're not going to. But they haven't really taken much of any risks in their comedy routine. And it's kind of like that's what these shows are kind of for.
Yeah, exactly. Playing
it safe. Anytime a show like this starts to play it safe, it's like it's very different, but just in my head, this is the only thing. If South Park suddenly started playing it safe,
Jesus. Yeah.
It loses its humor. It's not funny anymore. Not saying it. I'm not giving it a free pass to make fun of people and stuff, but I kind of am because that's kind of what the comedy is. But Futurama, the Hulu writers just kind of feel like it's playing it safe right now, which maybe is also the plan in the beginning, kind of get it back in the zeitgeist and back in the world.
Yeah,
and then maybe. But
I don't know. I've spent a long time talking about Futurama, so let's move on.
Okay. I was watching the thing. You had one more minute.
Yeah.
Before I was going to
Because we got 9 more things to go through.
If we don't get to them, we don't get to them. Anyways, so I put down, in no particular order, just put them down because they're just things I think that you should watch. The first one I actually put down was The Witcher.
All right.
I put that down for a couple reasons. First and foremost, Henry Cavill.
Boobies. Such a child. I am such a fucking 14-year-old boy sometimes still.
But no, I put it down because, one, I'm a big Witcher fan, both books, games, and the TV show, which I know that is controversial for Witcher fans because of the changes they made. Weirdly enough, I don't mind it because it's just more Witcher, and at the end of the day, I want to watch Geralt kill monsters, and I don't really care which version of it is until now.
Yeah,
that's my next point.
I'm like, but wait a second.
Henry Cavill.
This is not the conversation we had last night.
Henry Cavill. I'm going to go a kind of an objective view kind of way with it.
All right.
So, I don't know if you know. Get on
your pedestal.
I don't know if you know, but The Witcher is announced for sure a 4th and I think a 5th season.
Okay.
The big controversy with that is that if you don't know, our White Wolf has been replaced from Henry Cavill to Liam Neeson. No, Liam Hemsworth. Sorry, that was a lame joke. Liam Neeson, young Liam Neeson as a Geralt. I'm kind of
actually would have been good.
Yeah, right. Like, it was a joke, but wait. But yeah, so Liam Hemsworth is going to be taking over the mantle of Geralt, and I think that I have this thought that will actually make people go and watch it because of that, kind of the same way that people watched The Witcher that wouldn't watch The Witcher for Henry Cavill. Does that make sense?
There's people that didn't watch it because of Henry Cavill.
No, like they're like, it's not their cup of tea. Like, yeah. But then they see
Henry Cavill,
Zaddy on there, and they're like, yeah, okay, let's go. Like, that kind of thing. And I'm kind of feeling that's going to be the same way for.
I guess he has his fans, yeah.
But all in all, especially because you had it put on the other day, and I kind of started casually rewatching it, and I think that for a fan of a high fantasy set world, it's a good show. I think that its biggest complaint is kind of what all of these adaptations get is the true fans going in, and even Henry Cavill himself, who is a true fan and having created differences. Yeah. I was reading a lot about that, though. One of the reasons that he also stepped away, apparently, is not only was there creative differences, but then some of the people, production-wise, were openly mocking and making fun of the source material.
Really?
Yeah. And that was his issue. It wasn't just like, they're not doing it the way I want them to. It was that they were kind of like, and this is just me in my head, but look at this nerd shit kind of mentality. And that's
this is fucking nerdy, man.
This is stupid.
People actually like this shit?
Yeah, and that was part of
I
the
can see
issue.
Henry Cavill.
Fuck. But yeah, rewatching it, I think it's a really well produced, and it feels like so blasphemous saying that because of I even hate this word, controversy behind it. Yeah, the controversy. But I don't know, especially because once you know the idea of The Witcher, and it is in a weird sense this kind of multi-universal thing, it having this branching off storyline inherently to me fits into the world of The Witcher.
Yeah.
It's just a different
actor
place.
Yeah.
So even, I guess, Liam coming back isn't the biggest deal. I just like Henry Cavill, and I think that the big recasting thing, and I know I had my, was planting my feet and gritting my teeth and saying I'm not going to watch it. I'm going to watch it.
I know you're going to watch it.
So
it's The Witcher. You're going to watch it.
I'm going to watch it. Like,
toss a coin.
To your Witcher.
O Valley of Plenty.
O Valley. On to thee, he said, O Valley of Plenty. Toss thy coin to thy Witcher. But the message, the message that I wrote at the bottom, which is kind of the end all be all, is that it's just another way to enjoy the world, whether you like the books, the video games. It's like we have another video game announced from Project City.
It's going to come out in 2030.
2025, more likely 2026, because it's so hush hush. But it's, to me, the more Witcher the better, and I still think that even up into the third season with Henry Cavill is still a good show, and I think that it's a fun. I mean, it's to the point if you haven't gotten around to it.
Are there 3 seasons with Henry, or just
there's 3.
Okay.
And if you haven't gotten around to it and you're looking for a high violent, high fantasy adventure monster
high
slayer,
booby,
a lot of boobies, a lot of Henry Cavill naked in a bathtub saying fuck.
Orgy scene that made me have a realization that movies don't know how to show orgies.
The best one probably is The Boys, because
that one is pretty good.
High level debauchery.
Eyes Wide Shut is actually not a bad one. I haven't
seen that.
The most accurate of ever in movie history is still going to be Caligula.
Yeah, he was having to clarify, because he just really doesn't think that orgy scenes are very tame in movies, according to Jacob.
I've never been in one, but
I don't know. It sounds like from firsthand experience you
have. But I was just sitting there, I'm like, they're like barely touching.
But yeah, so must watch for if you have taste like me. Is I really think The Witcher is a great watch, and I think it's fun.
Fair, yeah. And well, I mean, I haven't really watched it other than just like the background that we had on the other day. That's why I was asking you so many questions.
Second season, first episode pops up. You ask, who is that? For Siri. For us that know what that is, he asked who the fuck Siri was. Second season, first episode. He's like, who's that young lady? Somehow he missed every scene with, like, the main character, and I was blown away. I've never seen that happen.
I saw a lot of Yennefer. I saw a lot of Geralt and a lot of boobs.
No, Siri, apparently. I just don't know how, like, the universal timing of you looking away anytime.
I honestly don't think I was in the room when the last half of the first season played as well.
It's just wild.
Yeah.
It just makes me wonder how much screen time does what's her name?
Yennefer?
No.
Oh.
What is her? What is her name? Oh,
Triss?
Freya Allen. I'm wondering how much who plays Siri. I'm wondering how much Freya Allen's screen time there actually is now. Start timing it. To me, it feels like a lot, but I'm like, maybe not. Anyways,
all right.
So that was I think Witcher is still rewatching again. I think it's a fun watch. So
cool.
Check it out if you haven't.
This one is a little bit more intense, kind of like The Witcher in a way, but this is more on for like a really good, well written story. It's more intense. True Detective season 1. Let me stop beating around the bush. And I'm saying specifically season 1 because there's 4 seasons of True Detective, and each season is its own separate story. It's like an anthology series.
So a different case, right?
Yeah, but it's different actors.
Yeah.
And everything. It's kind of the same world, but like different city, blah, 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 blah. It's season 1 aired in 2014 on Max. You can stream it on Max still. Season 4 just came out. Not sure if there will ever be season 5, or I didn't look that up really. But it was created by Nick Pizzolatto, who was a literature professor and novelist before doing True Detective. And as the showrunner, creator, or just creator, they kind of like forced him to do a second season after the success of the first season, and the second season was really womp. And
wasn't he was working on the first season for like 10 years or something?
Years. Yeah. He had been working on the first season for years, and then they're like, good, do it again in like 6 months. Like, write it again, write something cool again. And so it just kind of, honestly, I would say season 2 is a great first draft of something that could become really fucking cool. Mm-hmm. And then Max HBO came forward and apologized in a way. The producers, like, sometimes you see the success at something and you want that again, and so you push and pry for the people to create again the magic that had happened once, and you don't realize that sometimes that it takes more time for that to happen. And we apologize in a way of saying, like, and it was really because of that, and also Rick and Morty, and how Dan Harmon really held out on writing, like not having there be a season after season after season for the first 3 seasons. That showrunners got a little bit more power, and studios were like, okay, if we really want good quality product, we can't force it to happen on a syndication of the same time every year.
Yeah.
There are contracts and shows that we can do that with, but for specific ones, we got to let them
flush it out,
take their time.
Yeah.
So then it was a couple of years we got season 3, and then a couple more years later we have season 4. But season 1 is my favorite one, and I haven't seen season 4, so I can't really speak on that one. It's the season 1 stars Matthew McConaughey, Woody Harrelson, Michelle Monaghan, premise, like I said, we kind of already said, anthology series in which police investigations unearth the personal and professional secrets of those involved, both within and outside the law. But specifically, season 1 is in 2012. Former detective partners Rust Cole and Martin Hart are separately interviewed about one of their very first cases together involving a serial killer back in 1995. And it gets wild. It's such a good season. It's some of the best writing I have ever seen.
Well, those two are just great together.
And I was about to say some of the best acting.
Well, and what's her name? I remember her being really good in it too.
Who?
Woody Harrelson's
wife?
Mistress.
Oh, Alexandria Daddario?
Yeah. I remember her being really great.
She's great in that as well. She's a very small character, but like she's only in like 2 episodes, maybe 3.
I think 3, if I remember correctly.
And it's like, and again, yeah, like you bring up their acting. I consider this a master class in acting, because their transformation through the years and their specificity to their, especially Matthew McConaughey's like physical transformation into Rust Cohle is so fucking good.
Well, and then I think especially with McConaughey, and that goes into both. It's a multi-step program to do this. So it's like Matthew McConaughey's character in that, both him as an actor, obviously, is a huge part, but his writing and then also his relationship with and his chemistry with Woody Harrelson. This is all things that need to perfectly align, to make it. But he is such a caricature of a person because of all the the wild shit that he says, that it would have been really easy to put him into a campy camp. Where he would have just been a caricature of this kind of hippy dippy weirdo, eccentric.
Eccentric would be the right word. I don't know. Hippy dippy is the right one.
Just
because like
eccentric,
existentialist, like
his existentialist point of view would have been really easy to get wrong.
Oh yeah,
and it not deliver well, but the fact that they were able to make that character feel real and everything that he says sound like he just honest to God believes.
I don't sleep. I just dream.
Can
you stop saying weird shit like that?
Yeah. Well, he's like, because and I think that's probably part of it too, is that we acknowledge it and the characters acknowledge it.
Yeah.
As opposed to like something like Monk, I guess, is like, if we're going to jump to like the syndicated, kind of thing, where it's like, oh, that's just Monk.
Yeah.
Oh, here goes Monk again. It's like, no, Monk's an asshole, and you need to start calling him out
as
on
opposed
his
to
shit.
like Woody Harrelson's like, when you come over to my house tonight, can you not say weird shit like this town is a faded memory of someone's dream? Like,
or don't
I'm
come
not
over.
a fucking psychopath, Marty, all right?
Yeah, or don't come over.
Yeah.
If you can't keep the shit locked up.
And then Russ being like, I'm not a fucking maniac. I know I'm not going to say weird shit like that in front of your kids.
Yeah.
How about the car is a place of silence?
Yeah.
Like, it's so good. So good fucking writing.
That's something I would like to own the whole first season on DVD, because it's just, it's a great cop thing.
It is.
It's
because you have like, there's your stereotypical cops of Marty, who's like your, he's like top of the fucking, detectives, and like he's like the top dog. What does he say? Who are you? Oh, just a regular ass dude with a big ass dick. Takes a sip of his coffee.
It's what we wanted. Better things. Not better things.
Better things. Better.
Denzel Washington.
Oh, the Jared Leto movie?
Yeah, Rami Malek.
But better.
Little Things.
Little Things. Yeah.
Little Things.
Little Things. Yeah.
It's what we wanted Little Things to be.
Yeah.
I say that now, and I kind of retract it only because I watched it once. I watched that one time.
Their performances are good. Jared Leto's just a.
And I don't.
Did we review that, or did we just talk about it?
It was a banter.
Okay.
We talked about watching it, and we both were lackluster. But I'm wondering if that is one of those movies that you need to watch a second time.
Might be.
Maybe to catch the nuances of certain things. Because, Rami Malek and Denzel Washington, I remember being good. I mean, they're great. What's something they're bad in? Fucking Rami Malek is in Night at the Museum 2.
What Denzel Washington movie did we review that was like, what the fuck is this?
Virtuosity?
Yeah.
He wasn't bad. He's not bad in it. He does his job very well. We've always said that about Denzel. It's like, you may not be like, we call him a comfort, if you're kind of new, we haven't said in a while, comfort food, you know what you're getting. And Denzel, give him a script, pay him, and he's there.
King Kong ain't got shit on him.
Yeah, can't. And even then, Rami Malek, he's in Night at the Museum too, and he's hilarious. Like, the dude.
It's like Ramsey's, right?
Yeah, he's Ramsey. But okay. That's a good one.
True Detective season 1. Honestly,
solid.
Just like if you haven't watched it, just watch it, because
if you're looking for a very in-depth cop drama, and not just
and it's
layered.
Yeah, it's
layered.
I will
cop
say
drama.
Some content warning of like very intense issues. I'm just saying.
But
shut up.
Goes without saying, I think, but it's very better to warn. But that's because it's also not just cop go get. It's not dung dung.
No, they're like trying to solve a serial killer. So like,
and then you get a lot of look into them.
Yeah,
and
there's a lot of like philosophy of like of Christianity and existentialism, and like it's fueled with so much metaphor of stuff, and like It's just so good. It's so good. And it's all set in Louisiana swamps. And like from like 1995 up to like 2012. And like, because like a big thing a lot of people don't really realize is like down in the like the swamp areas, the marshes down there, is that there's just like people living out in the fucking sticks. People get away with the craziest shit down there, especially in the 90s. So weird shit happens in the bayou. Anyway, your turn.
I put down Arcane.
Hey,
League of Legends.
Probably some of the best writing in the last couple of years.
If you have not watched it,
We brought it up last week.
I know, but it's just like we're coming up. Yeah. Well, by now it's done. It's fine. The story is finally over. Haven't watched it obviously yet because we're back in time.
Yeah.
By this time it should be out. And Arcane, League of Legends is a Netflix animated show, and the reason I put it on my list is because it is incredible.
It really is.
It really is. It's a really incredible show.
You don't have to have played or even like League of Legends or video games to watch this and appreciate it.
And I just feel that in my circle, this has been a very slept-on show, which I've been very surprised about by certain people. If he ever listens to it, I'm talking to you.
You know who you are.
Cosplaying mother. And
I don't know if you watch, but I'm staring at you.
And the thing I think is important about this show too is that this is, if you have someone in your life that still has that idea that animation is for children or younger people, this is actually a great show to show them they are wrong. Not all the time, but this one is to me, a great hybrid of those two, of younger adult and adult, because
it's not kid, young adult. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, it's not for kids, but it is for maybe younger people. But older people can enjoy this as well because of the topic matter that it's discussing.
Yeah.
And this whole concept it's based on a game called League of Legends, but that doesn't really matter. It's just set in the world, in this universe. Yeah. And it follows two sisters from a rundown part of this high fantasy kind of steampunk city and their journey and what basically becomes the conflict between them two and their interests.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say about it without really getting to spoiler territory.
Yeah, fair.
But, it's pretty, you can tell pretty big off the bat at some point they do become butting heads about blank.
Well, there's also this big thing in it of like this separation of class.
Yeah, which is
the high class society and the low class society, the overworld and the underworld type
which
thing.
Is pretty tropey at this point, but they do it in a very easily digestible but not dumb way.
It's a very tropey thing, but it's still a very real thing in our everyday lives.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, I could see someone watch with this kind of material too, being exhausted by that and being like, I know it's a thing, but I don't want to keep watching it over and over again. I think they do it in a really interesting way. A lot of it too just goes with the fact that because it's animated, the world that they're able to create is incredible. And what's also great too, and what's very stands out about it, is that in this kind of thing, this kind of two classes, almost dystopian or utopian, depending on the way you're looking at it. Because if you're part of the higher class, everything's all well and dandy.
Yeah, it's still dystopic because there's the underclass.
Well, yeah, but they don't see it that way.
Well, yeah, that's what dystopic mean. That's the idea of dystopic. Is your high class thinks they are in a utopia for themselves,
but wouldn't it be a high utopia to them?
No, because the utopia means everyone is equal, regardless.
Okay, so it's just dystopian.
Dystopian.
Dystopian. Okay.
Dystopic. I don't think that's the word. I think dystopian's the right one. But yeah.
But even so, with this, a lot of the time they go into this very dreary kind of grayscale idea, which you kind of even do get in the what is the undercity called?
Zon,
yeah. Which you do kind of get with On, but even then it has this pop of color and vibrancy with the neon lights. And I think that just aesthetically, this show is incredible. And I keep saying that, but it's like, it checks all the boxes. The writing's great. the talent that we have, you know,
the voice talent, Ella Purnell, Haley Steinfeld
as our two leads, and then a plethora of other people that are in it. Every character feels really fleshed out. One of the best villains for the ever.
Oh yeah,
he's fucking rad, and you get him. You're like, at
first you're like, God, this guy's evil, and then you're like, oh,
I got you. I got it. Cool. Don't agree with it, but I get it. It's hands down one of the best animated shows I think I've watched in the last 10 years. Like, I just think that it says a lot in a way that that's what it is. I find it very easily digestible while saying a lot of important things.
That's fair. It's also got a fucking crazy good soundtrack.
Yeah. Like, say what you say about Imagine Dragon, but they make catchy ass songs.
Yeah. And their style of music fits this world. And it's kind of like a lot of the modern poppy, rocky stuff today really fits this world.
I will say and this is, I don't know this, but I just feel like they might have had to start cutting a little bit of corners in the second season financially, because this is also
animation-wise
ridiculously expensive animated show, and once you watch it, you can tell. Yeah. The key is the eyes to me. The way they animate the eyes is crazy.
Oh, it's really good.
The amount of time and effort they put into that, which you don't really see in an animated show a lot. Wild. But yes, the first season, those fight scenes in the first season are like legit. They kind of seem like they're cutting corners in the second one still, but still great story and great animation. If you have not watched it, you need to watch it. If you have any interest in it, I swear to you, I do not think you'll be disappointed.
If you're an anime fan, watch it.
Or even if you're a high fantasy fan,
watch it.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of good writing, watch it.
You like Hottie McHottie cartoon people. I don't know. It's all aesthetically pleasing.
If you have a waifu pillow, watch it. What are they called?
If you have a waifu pillow, I think you already watched it. I don't think that's who we're talking. That's not who we're trying to convince. But yeah, that's my pick. One of my picks is Arcane. Just 2 thumbs up. It's great.
Definitely. Ugh. All right. My next one. This is just a really good, fun, background, easy to digest binge show. How I Met Your Mother. It's one of my favorite sitcoms of all time. I love sitcoms. I'm a huge sitcom guy. I could go on and on about sitcoms and how dumb and enjoyable they are. But How I Met Your Mother is a very unique one in its sense, in my opinion. Not just because it was one of the most popular ones for a reason. And it wasn't filmed in front of a live audience, which most sitcoms are. But because of the way that they play with time, they couldn't do that. Mm-hmm. I think there was some parts that may have been. But anyway, it aired on CBS from 2005 to 2014. You can stream it now on Netflix and Hulu. Oh, yeah. Also one of those controversial endings of all time. Or any show, actually. But created by Craig Thomas and Carter Bay, who haven't really done anything else other than the Goodwin Games, which was like a mid-season replacement show for CBS, I want to say. Has some of the actors from How I Met Your Mother in it, not the lead, but like some of the side people as leads in that. But they also are in a band called The Solids, which they made some of the music for the show, which I was surprised about. And with that, makes sense why the music choices in the show are so fitting and so reflecting of the time period, you know.
Yeah.
You know, like the Shins, Band of Horses, all that. Like the use of music in the show, I think, is absolutely great as well. The premise, if you don't know, a father recounts to his children through a series of flashbacks the journey he and his 4 best friends took leading up to him meeting their mother. It takes 9 seasons to meet the mother.
Long story.
I guess 8 seasons you see her finally, because I think it's the season finale of season 8 where you see that it's Kristen Melody who will be playing her. And then through season 9, you get to actually meet the mother. Mm-hmm. But anyway, starring Josh Radnor, Neil Patrick Harris, Kobe Smulders, Jason Segel, Allison Hannigan. It's weird, out of all of these people, how everyone except one has had such a huge career. And the one person that has the most mid-career out of them was the lead of it all, Josh Radnor.
Yeah, I mean, he became really unlikable. So
Ted became very unlikable. But he was very unlike. Yeah.
Kind of shows its age now.
It does, and that's the thing. Very much so. It does show its age. Good guy Ted is not a good guy.
Yeah, I mean, I aged out of it, and I'm gonna be honest. It's not even because of the things that it says sometimes. It's really because I can't stand Ted.
That's fair. And this is, for me, this is comfort food.
Yeah, which is fine. You know, that's.
And like, I mean, there's like, because there is a big part of me that like Ted is very much like a kindred soul to me. I'm very much like Ted in a lot of ways, which is a rough thing to kind of say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, a big thing about the show is that it has a lot of growth. The characters have a lot of growth, in my opinion. The music, like I said, is great. It's another one of those examples of like it does a really good job of get you really emotional. Like Marshall's father passing away, that entire arc is devastating and is so acted.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, that's a really good one actually. Yeah, just him dealing with that.
Yeah, well, because like that entire episode is such like the writing for each episode is super clever too. Just the way that they play on things, and you know, most sitcoms like they'll set up what the joke is at the beginning of it, and then at the end of it, kind of like has its fun resolution. But that episode is called The Countdown, and you're expecting that it's about this countdown to this big news of Lily being pregnant because she keeps seeing the doctor. But through the entire episode, Marshall's father is trying to call him, and Marshall's avoiding him because he's like, I can't tell my dad about, what's happening. He doesn't have a grandson yet. He's not going to have a grandson yet. And it's like, it's counting down like 30, like little shots where you see the number 30, the number 29, the number 28, 27, so forth and so forth. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that's on the taxi cab that pulls away. And Marshall has great news to tell Lily. And then Lily's just there crying, is sad, and he's like, what's going on? Marshall, your father passed away. And Jason Segel just so honest and just with his breakdown, like, I'm not ready for this. It's just like, ugh. And like that swap that they do in the show all the time, just like all of a sudden you're like, oh fuck, this is different than I was expecting. Just so good. It's really good writing. And then you have Ted just being a fucking womanizer with Barney, pretty much. Well, Barney's a womanizer, but Ted, what is it like for how many episodes are in almost every episode he has a new almost girlfriend until he has like the arc of every season. I
mean, I think that also there are still with that show too, there are things that ring true. Like something I always think about is that one situation with like Natalie or something, I can't remember what her name is, but they break up and he's sitting there and he's romanticizing all the things about her. And
is it the one that he calls back, starts dating again?
Then breaks up with her on her birthday.
Yeah, that's Natalie, yeah.
I think of that one a lot because of that thing, that rose-tinted glasses.
Exactly.
That's so...
I think that's the name of the episode.
Yeah, well, I know they bring that up a lot, so it's probably... But, it's just like that... It might be it's probably too, we do have to keep in mind our age.
This is definitely a show for a specific generation of people. It speaks to millennials more than anything.
Yeah, because we went through it.
Yeah.
So like I do see the reminiscing and the familiarity with it, but also in that same note, a lot of it makes me cringe from my own personal God.
I remember when I was that.
Make my skin crawl. Wake up in the middle of the night thinking about it. But no, I mean, I get it. I get it.
Will I ever be able to walk into a Walgreens again? I could go on and on.
So
yeah,
next one. Funny enough, I put as my number 3 the Penguin.
Oh, okay.
The HBO series.
Kristen Milotti. She is so cute. I have a huge crush on her.
She's hot in this.
Yeah, I know.
She's scary.
Those big eyes.
I like them scary. I like her. She's scary. Anyways, the Penguin. HBO Max show. I'm sure that you're not living on a rock and you know what I'm talking about. But the reason I brought this one up specifically is because I think it is I think it's crazy that it happened. And then I'm also think it's even more ludicrous that it actually worked. And the reason I bring that up is because I started watching this with my mom, and it became our little Sunday tradition.
Well, she just watched the first episode randomly, right?
Just randomly.
Yeah.
But the reason I bring that up is that it became our Sunday tradition, and she really enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. But the crazy thing about it is that she had not yet watched the movie,
The Batman,
the predecessor, The Batman, which leads into this. Mm-hmm. And I just realized that watching it with her, it helps. You don't need it. And what's crazy about it is that this is The Sopranos in Gotham.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just a really cool, it's a really great, this I think is going to create a precedence where people can look at this and go, oh, we can make something that is tied to
this property,
this IP over here, and it doesn't really have anything to fucking do with it except for a couple key moments. And I just am kind of blown away at the writing.
Now we're going to get the Daily Planet.
Yeah, sure. Investigative journalist goes and solves mystery. I don't know. But this was created by Lauren LaFranc, who is the showrunner, producer on a bunch of other shows. But starring, if you don't know, the guy that plays the Penguin, Oz Cobb, is fucking Colin Farrell, who's unrecognizable.
Who's also in season 2 of True Detective.
Like we said, Kristen plays Sophia, like the other main character. Mm-hmm. And then the whole premise of the show is after some really traumatic event, basically a form of domestic terrorist attack happens in Gotham, and it kind of causes this big upheaval in the city's underworld crime syndicates. So then we meet Oz Cobb, who now uses this opportunity of the chaos to try and up himself as one of the new primary members of leading criminal organizations. And it's incredible. The acting's great. The writing's great. Costume design is great. It's just great.
It's really fucking good.
And I bring it up specifically, like, let's say, well, I don't want to watch that because I'm not a Batman fan. You don't have to be.
You don't have to be.
You don't have to be.
If you're a fan of
crime
TV,
like crime dramas.
Crime dramas, yeah.
This is so your
good.
shit.
Yeah.
It is insane how well they were able to execute this and still have moments where you, if you are a Batman fan, will see the tie-ins. Mm-hmm. Doesn't fucking matter to this person that has no idea about Batman.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, if you haven't gone around
Which is, I think, one of the best things. That's what makes this so successful, is the fact that it can live on its own so well.
Yeah. And then, like I was saying, too, it opens up this precedence where that was the message I wrote down here, is great standalone Batman / Sopranos crime drama, like, that hybrid. And then
The Wire.
Spinning off into other Rogues Gallery spin-offs and ideas where, like, they just recently, there is a series called, of graphic novels called One Bad Day. It's a DC spin-off series, and each one is one of these villains. So One Bad Day, Clayface. One Bad Day, and it's just a story about, not really pertaining at all to Batman, but he will show up in some of them, but about Victor Freeze or Poison Ivy or Clayface. So what I'm like, you actually...
What?
This is
Arcane. I was like, what were we watching? We're like, this is fucking Mr. Freeze.
This is, to me, HBO did what fucking Marvel and Disney have been trying to do for the last few years. This is like Loki. Mm-hmm. Loki's great. I liked Loki a lot, but the fact that it tied so much into Wolverine and Daredevil, or Daredevil Wolverine, is a big, huge misstep. As someone that's watched all those shows, sitting next to two people that hadn't, and seeing their kind of confusion at what the fuck was going on, that's not good. And I don't think that, like, because right now the way they've set it up with the Penguin and everything is that he was in the first movie, he had his own show, and he can be in the second movie. You don't need the middle cuff to continue on that story. But they made that middle cuff really interesting to watch on its own.
So you know how, but
you don't need to know.
Yeah. One of the things, this is like a little like side tangent inside of the Penguin, is like one of my favorite moments is at the very end of the last episode. And there's this shot. This is a good way to talk about this without spoilers. There's a shot of him looking up, and it's just like this really extreme close up on him. And he already has like with the makeup kind of like that pointed nose and like the jowls and stuff to look like the Penguin. But the way that I don't know if this was on purpose or if it was just like a crazy happy accident with the lighting, but the way that Colin Farrell looks up and the way that the light hits him, everything becomes so much more sharp.
Yeah, like the cartoon.
And his nose is pointy and his jaw's a little bit more pointy and his jowls are a little bit more out. And I saw that, so I was like, oh,
there's the Penguin.
Penguin.
There's the Penguin.
Holy shit, that was cool.
Yeah. I mean, I just think that this is one of the shows they're going to look back on and be like, this is kind of when it starts, if they're able to continue this.
Yeah.
But
this could be lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, but if they're able to continue, it's like this is where a lot of it started.
Because I'm thinking about this, world. Like in a sense, what's cool about this and what's nice with the Penguin is that he's not a meta-human. So it'd be, I feel like a show like this would be hard to do with like Clayface, actually.
Well, and that's the interesting thing about where are we going to go with this Batman?
Yeah, exactly.
This universe. Are we going to even touch on the meta thing? I would appreciate it if they didn't.
Yeah, because like that means no Poison Ivy.
No, you can still, you do OG, original Poison Ivy.
What was original Poison Ivy?
Eco-terrorist.
Oh, okay. She didn't have any.
She didn't start off with those powers.
I can talk to plants. I am Uma Thurman. Look how hot I am. Sorry.
That evolved. That's how it evolved over time.
Fair, okay.
But she's she was mainly just, I mean, she used plants as poisons and, she was like.
And I guess Mr. Freeze doesn't have to.
I don't think you can touch Mr. Freeze.
Why?
I don't know. I just think it becomes too CW feeling at that. I mean, obviously you could write him well if you sat there in the room and figured it out.
Welcome to the Ice Age.
Yeah, just off the top of my head, I'm like, I like Mr. Freeze a lot.
I'm trying to think of what I was thinking really quick is like if we were to make him grounded, would be like just he doesn't need to have the suit to stay alive type thing, but he is dealing with like just I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, okay, fine. He doesn't need to do what you can give him a freeze gun. It's like, well, now he's what's his name?
Freeze
from The Flash.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm totally
Igloo
Captain
Man.
Cold.
That's right. Yeah.
And then he's just Captain Cold.
Yeah.
Whoa, I never put that together. But that's interesting. All right, but yeah, no. So again, these are all this, right? That's the whole idea. These are things to watch during this time that you're gonna have off.
Yeah.
So if you gotten around to it. Do it, Penguin.
You got a season of something. I got a season of True Detective.
Yeah.
We've got some shows, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
This is kind of more in the vein for Arcane now. Going back into animation. One of my favorite shows of all time. Dragon Ball Z!
Is that why you wear that shirt? Yeah. Nice.
I love Dragon Ball Z! And, maybe it's not for everyone, but, binge it if you
I'm having a really hard time watching it.
Because
I broke down the math.
What do you mean?
It's like... Because it's made for cable TV and it has the commercials and stuff, if you watch it on a streaming service now that doesn't have, you're not paying for, if you're paying for it and don't have commercials and everything. So I've watched it on yours.
Like 12 minutes of actual content.
Dude, yeah, you really have like 10 minutes of actual story building because it's last week, right? Then the intro and then the thing. And then what's happening next week? Majority of the episode, like a good half of it, is intro and outro, and then a little nugget of it's a sandwich that is more bread than meat.
Yeah,
and it's kind of brutal to watch. I'm like, can we get a streaming supercut?
You see why I watch that while I'm playing a video game?
It does make sense. To sit there and actually, I get it. I get why it's a background thing. Because to sit there and actually try to actively watch it makes my ADD brain want to explode. Which is weird. You think it'd be able to follow it, but it's too much.
But like if you're sitting there,
can't focus.
If you're sitting there playing like The Witcher and you just have it on in the background, you're picking up everything that's happening on Dragon Ball Z.
If I'm playing The Witcher's playing on the background. I go hard. Full throttle.
It's like when we were playing Gwent the other day.
Yeah, fucking put on The Witcher. Don't touch that dial.
Dragon Ball Z, okay. Dragon Ball Z is a continuation of Dragon Ball, which was a manga. And then in Japan, the manga all the way through Dragon Ball Z, is all just the Dragon Ball manga. It's not Dragon Ball Z separate manga. It's all Dragon Ball. Anyway, originally aired in Japan on Fuji TV from 1989 to 1996. And then in America, it was started airing dubbed in 1996 with on Fox Kids or whatever, Fox channels. I didn't know that. But then Toonami picked it up and started doing the reruns of that, and then asked for more shows, and it aired from 1999 to 2003. You can stream Dragon Ball Z Kai, which is the shortened version of it all, which is the better version for story-wise to me, on Hulu. Oh, it's much shorter, trust me. Much shorter. You can stream it all on Hulu. And then it was created by Akira Toriyama, rest in peace. I had an beginning episode where I kind of talked about him. He also did character design for Dragon Quest and Chrono Trigger and many other different, a handful of other mangas through the 80s as well, and Sandland, which is a more recent one. I wrote down the voice talent, but there's people, they're more like anime dub people, Sean Schemmel, Christopher Sabat, Tiffany Vollmer, Stephanie Nadolny, but literally depending if you're watching Dragon Ball Z Kai, the first like syndicated dub episodes on Fox to what then Toonami had, there's different voice actors. Oh, it was also Vancouver based originally for the English dub. Mm-hmm. It just, there's so many different people that have played Goku, different people that have played Vegeta, different people that have played Bulma.
Like Vancouver, Canada?
Yeah. Yeah. What?
I don't know. I just like the idea of all the Dragon Ball Z characters having Canadian accents. I'm gonna go Super Saiyan, yeah?
Hey?
Hey?
Sorry for the Kamehameha.
Sorry.
I
was just really
fighting.
Why that's so funny. I'll go Super Saiyan, eh?
A very polite Vegeta.
Yeah.
He's still very angry.
He's angry, but he's just really polite about it. That's
sorry,
awesome.
I have to blow up your planet. Anywho, okay.
It's gonna hurt, eh?
All right, the premise, with the help of powerful Dragon Balls, a team of fighters led by the Saiyan warrior Goku defend the planet Earth from extraterrestrial enemies. Which, yeah, sure, you know.
Most of them are extraterrestrial.
It's interesting because in Dragon Ball Z, it is like more extraterrestrial. Frieza and, you know, the Saiyans, and I guess you could consider Boo. I mean, that's extra dimensional. I would say more. I guess I don't know what's the difference really between extraterrestrial and dimensional. Where Cell's a fucking robot, or cyborg android. Yeah. Thing. So, but I mean, it's Dragon Ball Z is also very unique in the Dragon Ball canon itself because it started to become more serious with its storytelling. Still, kind of Goku's a little bit silly, and, you know, Goku and like
a lot of people die.
A lot of people die, yeah. But like Dragon Ball is like this adventure, you know, Goku going to find the Dragon Balls, and it's, you know, kiddie and fun. It has its, you know, like fun emotional depth to it, but it's about the adventure of it all. Dragon Ball Z is about the conflict of an enemy trying to kill Goku. Mm-hmm. You know, but from the Saiyans coming to Earth, to Frieza, to Cell, to Boo. Well, Boo is just trying to take over the planet and destroy the dimensions. Goku really isn't the focus on that. But, and now that we have Dragon Ball Super, and there was Dragon Ball GT, and we now have Dragon Ball Daima. And Dragon Ball Super is the closest to kind of Dragon Ball Z in a sense of like continuing in like a vein of like more about the fighting and that stuff. Because Dragon Ball Super is like, has a lot of like different tournaments, which is close to Dragon Ball, but feels more Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball GT, where they were trying to bring back the adventure of what Dragon Ball was. And now Dragon Ball Daima is very much in that vein of Dragon Ball. Mm-hmm. Dragon Ball's everywhere. But for me, this is just, I mean, it's obviously, you know, a nostalgia thing from my childhood. You know, it's that it was the first anime that I watched. And I remember I didn't realize that cartoons could be cool like this. You know, like I loved Batman, but it was Batman, you know, and he was, you know, the fighting was very pow, ka-cha, like there wasn't fighting like this, which blew my fucking mind. Like the first Dragon Ball thing I ever watched was Tree of Life, which is one of the worst Dragon Ball movies of all time. Well, in whatever. And it was just like the animation was so different. The characters were so different. It felt like a superhero show, but in a world that was new and fresh to me. So like that's one of the big reasons I still love Dragon Ball Z and will always love Dragon Ball Z. And then of course Dragon Ball Z Abridged is its own fun journey, which
I don't think you have enough time in the holiday season to watch all of Dragon Ball Z. Could you binge all of it?
Oh, easily. You can binge all of it in like 2 weeks. Dragon Ball Z, just Dragon Ball Z Kai.
I don't know.
It's only like 140 episodes.
From the Saiyan saga going all the way up to the Buu saga?
It's all with the Buu saga, yeah. It's not like One Piece where there's 1,055,000.
Yeah, it's not like One Piece. Just go watch One Piece.
Just go watch it, yeah. Just
go watch it. What are you talking about? Just go watch it.
No, I mean, yeah, if you like, you could finish it through December easily. You could finish it. I mean, if you just sat down and watched it, you could finish it in 2 weeks.
Well, we kind of had to blow through these last ones.
Yeah, let's not worry about the length on this episode, honestly.
Okay. I put another HBO one down as my next one.
Okay.
It's not the last two, not really fitting with the holiday season for me, but gives a shit.
Well, we're not focusing on the holiday season.
I know.
Yeah.
But it's like you have all this time here. Yeah. You want some depressing shit? All right. I put down The Last of Us because also the new
season 2 is going to come out next year.
Season's coming out next year. So if you haven't gotten around to it, watching it,
watch it. Do it. So good.
The Last of Us originally is a video game by the publishers of Naughty Dog.
One of the best video games ever made.
Excuse me.
Hands down, one of the best video games ever made.
It is a post-apocalyptic drama about a fungus infecting humans, turning them into zombie-like creatures, and that causes the collapse of society. And it follows, post all of that happening, you follow a man who ends up becoming basically a transporter of a young girl to X location for reasons unknown. I'm not going to get into more of the story, but it is a post-apocalyptic zombie thing.
He's the transporter.
He is the transporter. He is, what's his name? I'm totally
Jason Statham.
Jason Statham. That is
Don't open the package.
That is a very different movie.
That is a very, but weird, same English present.
Starring Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey. It is just incredible. It is also kind of tying into The Penguin. It is a very interesting look at how you can
take a property,
and if basically you hire someone that had written the video game at first and threw him on the show, what can happen? But the idea, the writing, what am I trying to say? It's just such a well video game writing wise that it actually transferred over really well to a television multi-episode hour-long television show. But the reason I kind of put it on the list is that the other day when I was having my Sunday dinner with Mom, we were just going through HBO and I was showing her trailers and stuff, and she seemed interested in watching this, which I was really surprised by because this usually isn't her cup of tea. But the way HBO makes great trailers. Like when you watch their show trailers, because we just watched a bunch of them back to back. I was like, they make really good. They make great shows, but they got great teams on there. Like, you're gonna want to watch this,
and without giving anything away.
Yeah, like it's really good. Like I was like, God, they got some great people for this. But yeah, so the new season's coming out, and we're basically going from the first game to the second game. And if you're someone that, like, when I first watched this, I watched it with someone that had not, had not played the game, and it was really fun to sit with them and basically re-experience everything.
Yeah.
Because you might know what's happening, but it's different actors, it's a different portrayal of it, so it kind of is re-experiencing it for the first time. But then sitting next to somebody that had zero idea what was going to happen.
And there's definitely some story points that are reinterpreted.
Yeah. And there's some, yeah, exactly. And it's just really fun to sit there and re-experience it with someone that was never going to play the game. Yeah. Which, in all fairness, it's a 40-hour-long video game or an 8-hour-long movie. Yeah. It's just, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just more digestible in that way.
Well, it's like the performances from Pedro and Bella are absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
There's one specific moment from Bella that I am still just blown away by. And that's when they're giving aid to. I
gotta rewatch it.
It's the end of one of the episodes.
Oh yeah.
They're sewing him up.
Yeah.
And this the look of determination on her face.
Yeah.
And like she's scared, and then she does it, and then it's like, I got this. And just you see just so many different emotions go through their face at that moment.
I think that's going to be added to the Sunday watch list.
Fucking do it.
If she wants to commit to, because I would love to rewatch it, especially with the new season coming up. I think it'd be fun to have just one more go around. But yeah, if you haven't gotten around to it, Last of Us, HBO, Pedro Pascal.
Yeah. All right, our last one's here. My final one, this is kind of like one of my favorite shows of all time, if not my favorite show of all time, The X-Files. Yes. Originally aired on Fox from 1993 to 2002, and then they did a season in 2016, and then a season in 2018, which they should never have done. Some of the Monster of the Week episodes are fun. But it was created by Chris Carter, who hasn't really done anything else. He worked in Disney at Disney first. Oh. And he worked on some of their like kid science fiction stuff. Mm-hmm. And then some stuff gave him inspiration for the X-Files. But also this show gave Vince Gilligan a job and a career. Okay. Yeah. Vince Gilligan a job and a career, who Vince Gilligan went on to create Breaking Bad. And Better Call Saul, and that fucking world. Starring David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson. Premise: 2 FBI agents, Fox Mulder, the believer, and Dana Scully, the skeptic, investigate the strange and unexplained while hidden forces work to impede their efforts. And the big thing for me on this show is the balance. So there you have like two different like shows in a way for X-Files. You have one, which is the government alien conspiracy overarching storyline of the entire show. Mm-hmm. And then you have the standalone investigative mystery episodes, which are the Monsters of the Week. Mm-hmm. And honestly, my favorite episodes are the Monsters of the Week. Like I would love to actually just kind of compile what all of those episodes are and put them on a playlist and just play those on repeat. Yeah. And then not worry about the fucking government conspiracy alien bullshit. But then I would also like to have a playlist of just all of those, just play all of those in order to see if it like clearly makes sense with all of it as well.
If it lines up correctly.
Yeah, because there's still in like some of the like Monsters of the Week episodes, they have a little bit of the lore that happens. Like Scully at one point gets cancer and she's hiding it from Mulder, but there's this monster of the one of the monsters or in mysteries or whatever. What he does is he eats people's cancer because he's a living cancer cell. So,
I remember this one.
Yeah, he's got a bald head. He's an ambulance driver. Yeah. So like he's killing these people. They're about to die, so he's going to eat their cancer or whatever. So he's like trying to attack Scully to get the cancer, mm-hmm. But yeah, and that's how you find out that Scully has cancer. And it's just the show's for its time was very innovative because the first season, 2-ish, feels like it's this police drama procedural, but it's all paranormal shit. And it's really cool. And then
I've been meaning to watch it.
And then it gets to this point where like it finds its like groove in like middle of season 3 to season 4, where you start to get some of the humor, the lightheartedness in like the Monster of the Week episodes. Some of the Monster of the Weeks are very like crazy, like Home. If you guys know, it's like Wrong Turn, like inbred, fucking
Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah, like it's one of the most uncomfortable episodes, and it doesn't get aired on like TV. Really. Oh. Like you can only.
But it's on Hulu.
You can only watch it on Hulu, I think. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of the best shows of all time. Actually, a lot of people in a lot of lists of like best TV shows of all time, it's somewhere in there. Mm-hmm. And David Duchovny is a great.
How many seasons you said?
9 worth watching.
9 worth watching.
Yeah,
okay.
But and then since it is like the 90s through the early 2000s, hour-long episodes, 45 on streaming. There's 20 to 24 episodes a season. So like The Sopranos,
a lot.
It's a commitment.
Yeah.
By season 8 and 9, you have kind of like more two different kind of leading characters Mulder and David Duchovny kind of had a discrepancy with continuing the show after like season 7 and had like a contract dispute with Fox and stuff. So he's not really in the final 2.5 seasons. And they have another person. They kind of switch this whole. Now Scully is the believer because she's seen so much with Mulder.
Yeah.
And now you have your other straight edge detective
Skeptic.
FBI who's more the skeptic.
Yeah.
More grounded, even more than Scully was. Yeah. Which is fun. And John Doggett is kind of an underrated character, but I can see why a lot of people, dog on him. But honestly, this is just a fun thing. Like, if you haven't watched it, give it a shot. Or, if you have watched it and you got time during this, just put it on.
Oh, it's fucking...
John Doggett?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's his name? God damn it. Terminator 2. He's in Peacemaker. Peacemaker's dad.
Oh, is that him?
Yeah.
I didn't even recognize him.
In Peacemaker?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's Peacemaker's dad.
No, I see it now.
Yeah.
He's just so much older, and he got, he was always a really slim guy, All right. So to wrap it up, we're going to do my last one.
Yeah.
Anne Rice's Interview with the Vampire Show.
God. Oh, I thought you were going to have Stranger Things on your list.
Nah.
Stranger Things was one that I was thinking about putting on here because we rewatched it recently.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there. I was like, I really haven't rewatched a lot of it, but anywho.
That's why I didn't. I was like, I know.
But it is definitely worth a rewatch.
Which I'm doing right now, but
That's a show that I was really watching. Okay, this is a side tangent. After watching season 4 of Stranger Things, the writing in that show is really, really, really good. The way that they set up characters and then the way that their journey ends. Mm-hmm. Okay, go. Talk about... Yeah. Oh,
nothing. Just Anne Rice's Interview with the Vampire. It is a horror gothic romance. If you don't know, Interview with the Vampire is a book by Anne Rice, a whole series called The Vampire Chronicles. And there's a lot of them. But basically this first book follows a young man interviewing a vampire named Louis, and Louis is just telling his story about how he was turned and the vampire family that he had throughout the centuries, and the rise and fall and the ups and downs and the goods and bads that is that. Very interesting concept. If you do, so as the book, there was a 90s movie starring Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, and
Kirsten
Dunst and Antonio Banderas. Mm-hmm. Pretty cool movie. It's aged, but if you know it, you know it. But this is a really cool, interesting take on it because of the fact of they do a pretty substantial time change. They recast everybody. Like,
I remember really quick. I remember when this was first coming out, and I started watching it before you, and telling you about it. I was like, I think you should check it out. And I was telling you they made Louis a black guy and all this stuff,
which I was confused by.
You were confused by. And even just like, I was telling you about the time period change, and you were just kind of like, what? No, you were kind of like in this boat at first of like, I don't get it.
I just didn't get it.
And I don't think I'm going to like that. I don't think what you're telling me is sounding like something I wouldn't like.
Well, because I just didn't get it. Yeah, so like the big change that they made is that Louis from the book was a plantation owner, i.e. owned slaves.
Yes.
And so you're like, okay, great, whatever. That's not great. You know what I mean? That's the time period. That's the character. Okay, that's where we're at. But then when they announced that they were doing this show, I first saw Lestat, and Lestat is this French vampire, very beautiful, long blonde hair, coif, and
Pepe Le Pew.
Pepe Le Pew. Very much like that. And then they introduce what was his name? I wrote it down. I just keep forgetting. Jacob Anderson is going to be Louis. Jacob Anderson is you might recognize from Game of Thrones. He's the
he's Worm.
Yeah, he's Worm. He's Grey Worm. But I was just kind of like, wait, how are they going to make Louis, like, how are they going to change the character of Louis to make it that he was a plantation owner in this period? And then, so what they ended up doing was they just changed the time period so that now Louis, instead of being a plantation owner, was a hooch runner. He made booze and was a pimp, and so still had this kind of sinful aspect of using people to get gains. And I was like, okay, all right. So once I started watching it, it was very interesting because they also just did this time shift, which just caused a domino effect of changing everything just a little bit.
Well, and the way that they do this to keep it true to the actual book because this is still like that book technically happened.
Yeah.
In its own weird way.
Yeah. So what's interesting is that the interview with the vampire had happened before in the 70s. Mm-hmm. Now Louis, the vampire of that interview, has grabbed that same human who is now that much older, brought him to Dubai in his giant penthouse, which is, I think, is fucking hilarious. The middle of the desert. Vampire living in his high-rise penthouse. And
it's so nobody can...
Yeah. But then recants and re-explains the interview with the...
I mistold you.
With the aging of time and understanding of more of what had actually happened in these moments. So it's kind of like the book and the movie kind of weirdly happened. So those stories still work, but now he's clarifying a few things. And it was ingenious.
Yeah.
It was a great way of sitting there and being like, I know this story. I've read the books. I've seen the movie. What are they going to do? Oh, I still know really big key points, but how we get there is a very interesting journey, which is not, it's the journey, not the destination.
Yeah.
And it's phenomenal. Very violent, very erotic.
Very erotic.
It's really erotic.
Very violent and erotic together sometimes.
Yeah, very violent and erotic at the same time. So definitely
a lot of butt.
Viewer warning.
Not a lot of butt, but there's butt.
Yeah. Our friend finally watched it. I don't know. I can't remember if I told you that.
No.
Oh,
which one?
Loved it.
Wait, asshole or?
Yeah, the prick.
Okay. I was gonna go or kid.
Oh no, the prick.
Okay.
But yeah, he loved it. He thought it was great.
All right, yeah.
Which I was
totally
like,
would.
I would. I was like, yeah. I was like, you just watch it. I promise you, you'll like it. Shaking him. Watch the gay vampires. Touch ships. Anyways, there's 2 seasons now. There's 1 season now. The only big difference is that due to scheduling issues, they had to recast the Claudia character, but she does great as well. But yeah, all in all, it's really, and it's kind of, I really feel like we're kind of also getting into this weird, I don't know if getting into, but I'm starting to notice something more is how many shows are actually really being able to blend horror into
the genre bend
and really put it into other things. Because even when we were like jumping back to The Witcher, that's a pretty horrifying show.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff that happens in there is horror movie level.
Well, it's interesting is like I feel like we've reached that level of media, like visual media, that people are understanding that of how to like mix those better. Because I think like books have been doing that for a long time, Well,
then it's like with Interview with the Vampire, it's a horror story with romance as opposed to romance with horror.
Yeah.
Because of just the nature of these creatures and what they have to do to survive. But they're still at some deep down level are human. They want love, they want connection, they want a family, and that's really what a lot of the journey is finding the family in between these horrible moments.
Yeah.
And that was everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say one of the things, like the way that it ends is interesting. Obviously they're going to be doing more. They're going to be exploring the Vampire Lestat.
Yeah.
And, so they're not stopping with this interview stuff.
Yeah,
this is Anne Rice World.
This is AMC, not Netflix.
I don't know if they're going to do anything more with the Mayfair Witches or whatever, but I still need to watch that.
I need to watch that to have an idea of where they're going with it. Because I read the first one of that, so that would give me, I feel like it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this was a fun talk. I mean, other shows I was thinking about putting on like Breaking Bad and stuff, as well. Stranger Things, Breaking Bad, The Office.
Yeah.
Friends. I have a lot of shows that I like. Old shows. New shows, I have a hard time recommending new shows to people. Because I'll like recommend something really hard and then somebody will watch it and they don't like it. And then they'll think like, yeah, I don't know why I recommended that to you.
I don't mind recommending things as long as I don't have to sit there with them and watch it.
That's fair.
I hate that. I hate when you're like, we should really watch this movie. And then you laugh.
You're checking. Like, did I? I like that moment.
Yeah, that was good. Like when I watched Dune with my mom, we watched the second Dune and then the show Dune. And I just kept looking at her, like, just hoping, and I didn't get nothing. At the end, she went, "That was great." No, you're so hard to read.
You're a fucking robot.
Sphinx over here, just not reacting. All right, I gotta pee, so let's
wrap it up.
It
is, yeah. All right. We're going into holiday now. Christmas time. We don't know what we're gonna do. We need to figure that out.
Yeah, we'll figure that out once we get off camera. But follow us on Instagram and Facebook. On there, all our promos. Just go ahead and click on that to get to our main page, and our main page is our link tree. And that will show you everywhere we are. We're pretty much everywhere. Apple Podcast, Spotify. We do video on YouTube. So yeah, like, comment, follow, and
I hope you guys liked our episode, liked the episode of us talking about our TV shows that we like. Get a little bit more about us.
Any thoughts of that? Just go ahead and comment.
Let us know what your favorite stuff is. You know, maybe we'll watch it if we haven't yet. Maybe we will. I don't know. Fucking
maybe we'll be there. But yeah, this is Tommy.
This is Jacob.
This is Tommy and Jacob's mixtape. Bye. Son of gonna pee.